welcome to Craft with Sarah. It's time for another free Christmas craft project, and today it is greetings cards. I have designed these greetings cards, which you can see on the screen now, and I'm sharing the cut files with you for free to cut on your Cricut or other type of cutting machine. These cards are really quick and easy to put together, and they're bound to make an impact with your friends and family this festive season. Let's find out where to get the SVGs and how to make the cards. Let's get started! You can download the free cutting file for this project at craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs or follow the link in the description of this video to go straight to the download page. The download comes in a zip folder, and you need to unzip this before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Before we get started at making these cards, I just want to make you aware that because of the pop-out effect, which is just done by bending up the card, these cards work best in a display box rather than an envelope, because if you put them in an envelope, it's going to push all of that layering down. Now that is okay, you can still post these cards, because even if you do flatten it in an envelope, when it's taken out, the little sides will pop up a little bit, and then the recipient can always bend them up a bit more if they want to. But if you're physically giving this card to someone, so it doesn't have to go through the mail, then a much nicer way to give a better impact is by using a card display box. And this is just a tiny little paper craft box. You can put your card inside, and I've used an example from my SVG shop just to show. So this has kept all of that same kind of pop-out effect on those sunflowers and just fits nicely in there. You can decorate the box however you like, and the lid just goes on tight. These boxes are not really suitable for being posted because the lids just come on and off, but if you're giving the card to someone, then this is a much nicer way to do it. And I have free SVG templates for making card boxes on my website. I'll drop the link to that in the description of this video, and the tutorial shows how you can resize the box to fit a square card, so you can put these ones in there, and also how to add your own decorations to the front. So you could add snowflakes for this one, or you could add some extra flowers for this one, whatever you want to make it completely personalized for whoever you're giving your card to. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, and then go into Upload over on the left. You can see I've already got my poinsettia card here, so I'll show you how to load in the snowflake one. Press Upload Image, and then you can either click Browse to find a file on your computer, or you can drag and drop it in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of your folder, and then the files to select for Cricut Design Space are the ones which start SVG in the file name. There are two different ones. One has the word poinsettia in it, and the other one snowflake. So in this instance, I'm going to pull in the snowflake one, but it works the same for both of them. This is how it looks on the screen, and then we'll press Upload. It will then appear in your recent uploads, so click it to get the green border, and then press Add to Canvas. It should load in at the correct size, which is 11.5 inches wide and 5.75 inches tall, and this will make us a 5x75 inch square card. If yours is loaded in at a different size, just change it to match. All of the cut lines are already formatted onto all of the layers. The only thing you might want to do is to add a score line down the middle of the base card to make it easier to know where to fold. To do that, look down the layers panel until you get to the very bottom, which is your base card, and then click the little eye icon next to it to hide it. Now click on your entire design and ungroup the layers by pressing the Ungroup button at the top. And then click away to deselect everything. Press Select All, and that selected everything now apart from the base card. So we can now regroup it by pressing the Group button, and then hide everything in one go by clicking the eye, and then go down the bottom and turn the base card on. And that's just the quickest way I found to get rid of everything apart from the base card so that we can add our scoreline nice and easily. Go into Shapes, choose a scoreline and set it to 5.75. Press Select All to select both the base card and the scoreline and go Align Center to put it in the middle. Then, with both those layers still selected, look down the bottom of the Layers panel and press Attach. Attach is what tells the Cricut that we want it to do the scoreline on our base card. We can now turn the group of all the other layers back on. It's at the bottom now, but that's okay. We can click it and go Arrange, Bring to Front, and then it doesn't matter if it's gone out of position, but if you want to, you can just move it back so that you can see how the card is going to look. There's nothing else we need to change, so I'm just going to go ahead and click Make It. And this will separate everything out. You will need 12 by 12 inch card to make your base card, but all of the others you can change the paper size if you want to cut it from something smaller. And you can drag and drop to move around. For this grey layer, I really recommend cutting it from something that's got a bit of sparkle to it. Either holographic card, silver card, metallic card, glitter card, something like that. Something that's really going to shine and look beautiful in between all the layers of the snowflake. For the poinsettia card, you'll have similar layers to this, but they look yellow on the screen. And that's because for that one, because we've got those beautiful rich red colours, it looks nicer, in my opinion, if these bits are cut from gold. So I'm doing silver for the snowflake with all these shades of blue, and gold for my poinsettia card. But of course, it's completely up to you what colours to choose. So go ahead, get everything looking how you want it to on this screen, and then press Continue down on the bottom right and follow the on-screen instructions to get everything cut out from cardstock. Here are my 2 cards cut out from cardstock. I haven't stuck anything together yet. I've just laid everything on top of itself to check that I'm happy with the colours and that I haven't accidentally missed any bits along the way. We'll start with the snowflake card. So here it is. And I've used a really nice holographic card for those backing layers, which has got loads of colours in when the light hits it. And it looks really festive and pretty. We'll start by sticking the general base of the card together. I've already folded my main square into 2 along that score line. And then here's my holographic card. Very pretty. And then we'll just glue this onto the card. Today I'm using this Nuvo glue from Tonic Studios. I'm trialling it out. I do quite like it. My regular glue is called Kalal. But this one's quite nice because it's not a solvent glue, so it's not stinky like the Kalal is. Other good glues are Bearly Art Glue, which isn't readily available in the UK, but you can sometimes get it on Amazon here. It's more readily available in the USA. Art glitter glue. I was losing track of my thoughts then. Alright, so I've got this bit now, which again is going to be glued on top. Make sure you get some glue around these little corner bits. Otherwise they'll lift and they might catch on things. We don't want to damage the card. There we go. It's completely symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way around you put it. But it should go in the middle of your piece of shiny cardstock. I'm not pushing down too hard because I don't want the glue to smush out the sides. There's our base, and it opens up that way. And next we can start building the snowflake. I'm going to take my very bottom bit, which is, if I can get them apart, this bit, and this will also be glued onto the card. Now you want to make sure you've got it the right way up. So if you put that on, you want the bit that we're going to fold down to be right at the top. Try and get it kind of in the middle. You're probably getting some very strange reflections off of this card in my camera lights. Alright, next we're going to add on this snowflake, but before we stick it on, we need to fold up the edges to make sure we don't accidentally glue those down. So for all of these little bits that come out, just carefully fold it up like that. It won't end up being vertical when we have finished the card, but just for now it gets them out the way. There we go. Now I'm going to turn it upside down and add a little bit of glue just to the middle section. If you want to, you can glue into these bits too. I like to leave them without the glue because then they kind of naturally bend up a little bit too, and it just gives you a bit more of a 3D effect. So then we'll stick this one on. And it should have an even border of your shiny card all the way around, all the different sides, like that. And I'll push those down a little bit, otherwise the next layer is not going to fit. Take the next shiny layer, turn it upside down, and this time I'll add some foam squares on the back to give a bit of dimension. And again, I'm just putting these in the middle. You can glue it if you want to, but I find that it works better if you do it this way. Right, so this one goes round at an angle, like that. And then on top of that, it's going to be this one. And again, fold out those little snowflake ends, get the bend going in there. And then we'll glue this onto the card. Tuck them down a little. Just make sure it's in place. Sometimes the glue can move around a bit. And then we have the next one to add the foam squares to. And then I'll put this one in. Which way round shall I do it? I think that way. It doesn't really matter. And then fold up the ends of the smallest snowflake. Gets a little bit fiddly now. There we go. And glue on the back. And put it in place. Oops. Just tuck some of those down a little. There. And then finally, there's our tiny snowflake. So just a little bit of foam on the back of the holographic, or shiny piece. I'm going to have to be careful now because this might move all my glue about. And need it to go that way. Yeah, my glue is not dried on this bit, so it's moving about. And then the tiny snowflake, it's a little tricky. Just a tiny bit of glue on there. And come on, let go. There we go. There. And that's the snowflake card done. And just look at all that dimension on it. It's beautiful. And that's why I said for these cards, you probably want to put them in a box rather than an envelope. Now, an envelope will work because all of these bits do just flatten out. So you can still post it, and when someone takes it out of the envelope, they can pop the sides up. They'll come up a little bit naturally, but they can always do it a little bit more. But if you want to keep that pop out effect as it is, doing a card box is going to work out a little bit better. And the link for a free card box template is in the description of this video. So that's our snowflake one done. Now we'll move on to the poinsettia flower. The poinsettia card goes together in a very similar way to the snowflake. So to make this go a little bit quicker, I've already done some of the steps. For example, I've already stuck my squares to my base card. The first layer to go on is the leaves. And just like before, we're going to bend upwards along where all of those cut lines for the leaves end. Be very careful on this one because the edges around the leaves and on the poinsettia flowers are very thin, so it's easy to tear them by mistake. We don't want to do that. So I'm getting these folded up nice and gently, and then turn this upside down and add glue into the middle. And then this will go onto my card, and you want it so that this middle one is pointing directly upwards. It almost touches. In fact, I think it does just about touch each of the four sides of the white bit of card. There's that one. Just flatten it out a little. And then next we've got the biggest layer of the flower. Look at this shiny card, it's so fun. And I'm going to add some foam squares to the back of this. And then put it on in the middle. And this will flatten out the leaves a little bit. But that's okay, it's still going to have loads of extra dimension from the flowers. Fold up the petals on your largest red flower. And then a bit of glue on the back, just in that middle circle. And stick it down. And flatten those out a tiny bit. There we go. And then next we've got the middle flower. I've already glued this on, so I just need to add my foam. I was trying to decide if I wanted to put it straight on there or do it this way. I'll do it this way. So my petals are all folded up. And then... I think I might have to wait for the glue to dry on this one because that's still moving quite a bit. Let's see if I can do it. Again, this will push down those first petals a little bit, but we can bend them back up. I didn't do a very good job of putting that exactly in the middle, but I think it'll be okay. And then got the third one. Again, I've already stuck that on there. So just one little bit of foam. I had bent out my petals, but they've now all decided to fall back down. There we go. In the middle. Again, you'll probably just need to bend these up a little bit more. It's because the gold is overlapping on the cut lines, so you lose a little bit of the bend when you stick the next layer down, but it all comes together in the end to make a really lovely effect. Ooh, just moved that on my glue again. There we go. And then finally there is the little berries to go in the middle. I'll need a smaller piece of foam for this one. Let's go straight in the middle. And stick that on. I used quite a lightweight card for this dark red, which I think was maybe a little bit too thin because my petals are just going back in. There we go. And that's my poinsettia flower card finished, and I'm just putting the lid back on my glue before I forget. But I will turn it round. So you see, even though we did push them down a little bit in order to build the layers, you can still see so much dimension, and it's a really pretty card, both the snowflake and the poinsettia, and they go together really nicely too. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make these lovely little Christmas cards. Don't forget the link to get the free SVGs is craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut crafts and, yes, even more free SVGs. Thank you for watching. Bye!